Hello and welcome to Blood in the Streets. I thought I would make this first video and a long string of videos at a pretty pivotal point in crypto's time. This is Toxic Crypto with you live from Virginia, USA. And tell you what, I feel you. This is Litecoin we're looking at right now. Some pretty heavy volume. We were attempting, and this is kind of BS now. We had this run up to 180. You know, we had some good news. You know, we were. Litecoin is going to be on Gemini, Bitcoin Cash, Zcash. You know, right after we had tax season, people were just itching to buy. We were itching for a bounce. We were showing that we could hold, and lo and behold, we got the bounce. And we had some type of technical breakout, had some decent volume, held higher, and then we got up here. I do want to look at Bitcoin. We got up here, and all of a sudden people were like, oh, consensus is in 7 or 8 days. We're gonna hold up here. Maybe we come down just a little bit, and then we break through this wedge, and oh my god, consensus, like Tom Lee, my hero, by the way, saying that we're gonna go up to 15,000, maybe we're gonna go up to 12,000. I mean, there was a lot of people up here that were saying we were gonna break out, go to like 11.5, 12K, and then come back down, retest after consensus, and just go sideways for a couple weeks, and then off to the races. Boy, were they wrong. If you look on the internet right now, there are just about everyone has identified this very easy wedge pattern here. I think very few people understand that this is a bullish continuation pattern. I've only seen one other video that really goes into detail about how this kind of looks like gold's chart and how gold is doing exactly the same thing. However, gold's bullish triangle right here that we're seeing in Bitcoin in a 4 or 5 month time window happened over several years. So we're getting, one thing I really like about crypto is that it moves really, really fast. You don't have to wait a year for a macro pattern to work out. If this happened in a stock, it might be 12 months, it might be 3 years before we saw something move up, and then a whole lot of fundamentals have to take place. Something that reminds me of it is something like Cisco, where we had a boom in the tech cycle, right? And then it crashes down, and then maybe about 8 years ago, something like that, they really were not winning business, and then they were hit a low, and then it took a couple years for the company to turn around, and then suddenly it's doing much better again. We're stuck in this wedge pattern until we're not. And do we really have to be in this pattern? No, we don't actually have to be in this pattern. It's just now everybody's looking at it. So because everybody's looking at it, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's taken us a little bit of time to make this pattern, which is the same reason why we're going to say, oh, we can't go any higher than 11.5. You're going to hear that. Oh, we can't go any higher than like 12.9. You're going to hear that. Oh, my boy Cliff High saying 38888. You know, we're up here. Well, guess where that corresponds? Boom, right there. Really? Amazing webbot. That would definitely be my target. And then come back down and retest if we actually got a lift. So we had this hype run up in Bitcoin. Like, where are we going? Where are we going? Not financial advice. What do we do right now? What do we hold? Wind moon. Hey man, if you know that, You got a time traveler? Let me know. I can't tell you what I've been doing, which really is not all that much. And we're in a trader's market right now. We're not really in an investor's market. Trader's market is you buy the dips, sell the rips, or if you're short, the opposite, right? You make money on it going down, so you want to sell it when it goes up. I guess it's kind of the same. Sell it when it goes up and cover your position when it goes down. So the shorting is actually helping us because when the dips happen, shorts want to get out. If we look over at the shorts up here, pretty interesting. This is Bitfinex like margin shorts going on. I've been studying this chart for the last couple months to try and see if it tells us anything, and really the big tell happened in April. This is when we got the lift. Like, we actually had shorts get squeezed. Look how much it got squeezed. We were 40,800. That's the biggest short of all time in Bitcoin, at least through this Bitfinex. I mean, it's like 80%. We dropped like 35%-ish. Almost 50% of the shorts got squeezed out. A little bit of bounce, and we're trying to recover right now. And where did we come into? Pretty much prior support. Look at that. That's still, honestly, that's still bullish in my opinion. And we have a MACD cross that happened here, saying that shorts are about to go stack, and bet more on Bitcoin going down. Now, this chart should go up as Bitcoin goes up because less likelihood it continues to go up. But will we ever reach this short amount again? I mean, think about it this way. This could be viewed as a bull and a bearish bias. You could look at it two different ways, which is why we're in this indecision pattern, a pattern of indecision. We're going to get coiled up in here, pissing off both sides. That's what the market does. Both sides are going to lose money here until one side wins, which if this followed it completely, it's going to be sometime in the middle of July. But the last time when the shorts got squeezed, we were down here, right? Oh, look at this. This is when they got out. This is when they got out. We couldn't break lower. We couldn't break lower. We couldn't break lower. And then boom. In fact, those shorts actually got out a few days before the move happened. They got out right here. Doesn't really make much sense, does it? Of course, this is Coinbase. We are looking at Bitcoin Coinbase chart. So you wouldn't see that Bitfinex volume. But here we are again at the bottom of the wedge. In fact, I mean, we can also look back here when we made our first flash low. We don't have the same amount of shorts. In fact, when we made our first flash low, this was our prior peak. So first flash was here. Our second flash was here. We're nowhere near any of these. So there's not as many people who are believing that Bitcoin is going to go down. If we were down here and people thought, oh, it's going to 3,500, it's going to 2,000, load up the truck, sell everything, it's over. That's kind of what they were saying up here, which, okay, we're still, 1,000 points, 800 points above that. That's a pretty nice cushion, to be honest with you. It feels like it's really close because of how Bitcoin moves. But the whole point of this is there's less people shorting it now than there were during the February peak on the short side and the April peak. Now, do the shorts follow any type of technical analysis? I have been studying this. You can see that we got a breakout in the middle of March. How does that correspond? a little bit. You know, shit. I got out of positions when this happened. What did I want to see back here? I wanted to see us just go sideways, put the biggest cup and handle in history really tight, high and tight. If we were going to be really strong, we needed to come up here high and tight and then make our move. And that would have been insane. We didn't get that. What we got was this accelerated trend line. And once it broke, dude, I would have shorted that. I don't take short positions out on crypto. But look at this. That's when the shorts went up. And they made a shit ton of money. And easily, you could have rid that down and covered, guess what? White when it broke above that trend line, and that's when all the shorts covered, which led to this. So if you were shorting Bitcoin, we just gave you a roadmap of the perfect shorting opportunity, which was breaking here, and when to get out here. You made a lot of money right there. Especially if it was margined, a lot of money. So where do we go now? Well, stochastics. There's only a few people using stochastics out there. I've actually found on a longer term basis they do work somewhat pretty well for crypto. And then we've also got RSI, which we're now comfortably oversold. We're at 26.6 today. This is the 28th in the morning. Okay, and then the MACD, which, look at this. Higher low on the MACD, higher low on the MACD, possibly, all right? We still have plenty of room. If that's the case, it's a bullish divergence on the MACD on the long term, in my opinion, as long as it holds up here. The other macros that we're seeing, let me clear these lines, is yes, we want to see this hold, and maybe we dart around up here, piss people off even more. We could go all the way to the end, or this might be, we might hang out here for about a week, which would be, I think, really bullish. Bounce up here. That actually might even be it. We may not have to do this. A lot of people say, oh, we have to have Elliott wave. We have to have ABC. We have to have 5 ups, down, to draw this whole roadmap, which, hey, Elliott wave is cool. It has its uses. Understand it's only a roadmap to what could be. Hindsight's 2020. It allows you to look at what happened and possibly predict what the future might look like. But again, there's algorithms out there. There's human panic out there. There's whales. There's news. There's actually news in crypto. And by the way, all the news right now is pretty bullish. Pretty bullish. Which that's another topic. So one thing that really gets me frustrated about seeing the Elliott wave stuff is it doesn't have to follow that. In fact, I've watched several videos where people spend 20, 30 minutes aggravated because they look at it and they could find 5 different setups in waves. Well, guess what? That you can't trade off that. You can't trade off that. The only thing you could possibly do, in my opinion, is say, okay, this has made its move. Where is a zone that could be a buy target? And again, you're using Elliott wave, you're using Fibonacci retracements. You know, even where you draw Fibonacci's could be, you know, do you take the wick? Do you take the close, the high a day, you know? In my opinion, Elliott wave only sets up, like, if this pattern goes and all the Fibonacci's match up and it plays, okay, then you get a buy target somewhere around that area. Right? Like, that's your buy zone. Right? That's what Elliott wave tells me. Which, hey, duh, right? Duh. I mean, you look at this and you're like, okay, well, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, a long-term holder that bought this at 700 doesn't give a shit. Excuse the French. They don't care. They don't care. They're still up 10. They're up 10 times since last year. And in fact, after this amazing run up in 2017, we actually need a year to just bang around. And the most bullish thing that could happen is if we spend all year banging up on some type of trend line like this, holding this, and just kind of doing this. And eventually, we might just, this might be a new pattern of going up. Maybe we get a break out of this, and maybe that break doesn't even take us up here. In fact, if it took us up here, I'd be really upset, because that means we're going to crash back down hard. Then we're going to make another lower high, and now we've got a macro head and shoulders, which in crypto land, everyone's going to see. Everyone's going to say, oh, we're going down. And what would that be? 3,800 to 6,000. Oh, we're going to zero, guys. 6,000, 13,000 minus 6,000. The difference takes us way the fuck down here. Which, if you look at some really long-term logarithmic charts, it says that Elliott Wave says we should go down to 2,500, 2,000 before the next move up to 100,000. Do you believe that? There's so many different camps, and I think that it's really, really healthy right now for crypto. Personally, I think we're going to hold here. There's two things. I really believe we're going to hold here, and we're going to just go sideways here. And then, tell you what, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be up to the institutions and the whales. It's going to be, once we get to this point at the end of June, is the big money going to say, I'm putting in billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, this is it? Or are they going to say, nope, I'd rather buy it down here? The long-term hedge fund, the long-term investor, probably wants to buy it here. If they know it's going to go to 100K, why not be able to buy more of it here? The fundamentals, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there on the internet and fundamental speakers that know a whole lot about the tech. I'm learning that. I got into crypto last year, early part of last year. And, dude, there's so much to learn. It is an amazing field. It is an amazing asset class. And it's only growing. Only growing. In fact, when we did this ramp up, there was so little. This was all hype. I was selling all of my mining profits into this because I was scared shitless. Yeah, it's not going to be like this forever. I definitely was not buying Bitcoin back here. I traded some of these dips. Did well. I traded that. Traded this one. Sold here. Traded this one. I didn't get all the way up here. I sold on the way up. I didn't have really any position up here except a very small one, which I got out when we broke here. And I've just traded every which way. And I've done okay. There's some wins, there's some losses. But right now it's a very macro trend. And now that everybody's looking at this triangle, everyone has to pay attention to it. That being said, look how low the stochastics are. So where is Bitcoin going? I gave you my estimates, right? I personally think it's going to hold here. It's going to be a triple bottom, quad bottom, however you want to look at it. And this is still viewed as a cup and handle. This is still viewed as a potential inverse head and shoulders, which would give us somewhere around the lines of like 18,000. I think you come back up here. If this held over the next couple months, I think they try and push it up to these all-time highs. And then we're going to have a pretty nasty correction again, down to 12.5. So can I get arrows? I think we go here. and then we come down here to that. So this would be wave 1. Elliot, this is 2. Huge, huge, huge 3. Okay? So big, it will break calculators, as some said. So freaking massive. Right? That takes us all the way up into the end of the year. That's the bullish scenario for me. But again, there's so much time left in the year. What else could happen? If we break down here, and hey, it's possible. I don't think we can right now. I think we need some type of move up that fails again to give us enough pressure to be able to give up. If that happens, we could see 5,000 to 4,000, which then is bought, comes up here against that trend line. That would be a hell of a buy, by the way. It might even go higher than that, come back down to the previous low, and like that. Again on the trend line, if it holds. So it may be pretty difficult to see because we have 2 different arrows doing things, but where do they both go? Oh, they both end up back up here. So if you are a long-term investor and you're like, okay, well, in 2 or 3 years, Bitcoin's going to 100K. Do you want to buy it at 7K or you want to buy it at 4,000? How about we just manipulate it down to 4,000? That sounds tasty. And then we can accumulate it much lower for longer, which they've been doing down here. So those are my 2 thoughts on how we're going to see Bitcoin. Now, if you can't handle that, that's what crypto is. It's a roller coaster, man. That is the volatility. Now, for the most part, we're going to see mostly everything follow what happens to the king, right? So if this falls down, we're actually going to get higher BTC dominance, right, than the others. You know, Bitcoin will get money. They'll get out of the altcoins and flood into into BTC. That'll help a little bit, just a little bit. But 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't know. Stochastics are really oversold. RSA is now in oversold territory. I know we had a flush this morning. If we break it down to the 5-minute, if we can even look at it anymore, there we go. You know, we're still having some serious sell pressure down here. Look at this. This is the box that we said to buy zone, right? This is the fake out on a massive volume. You know, it looked really good up here on the 26th. We held all day long. We had another fake out. They took out all of the sell orders, and then they slammed it. This was take notice. We are not done yet. We are not done yet. And then they did the same thing here. Look at this. They held it. In fact, Litecoin has this chart that just pretty much does this. Pretty incredible. Slammed it again. Litecoin actually made a new low. This is that same period of time. Just a nice little buy program that went off, and then they just obliterated it. Pretty good. Oversold. Couple dollar move bounce, depending on what trading platform you use. You know, as soon as we broke this wedge here, that was a buying opportunity. Like, when the market is in indecision and or you don't know what to do, Again, this isn't financial advice. This is just what I've learned over the last 10 years of trading stocks and options and cryptos. And again, I was a professional day trader for 5 years. In times of high volatility, uncertainty, keep your position size low. This will prevent you from losing too much money during chop. That's chop. In fact, this is all chop, really. There are trades to be had in here, but you shouldn't be betting your house at 114, thinking that, oh, we went up here and we're going to go to the moon. Well, guess what? You just 116 to 124, $8, dude. If you had 100 contracts, that's $800 minus some trade fees. Maybe you made $700. That's a hell of a trade. One day, $700. Hell of a trade on 100 Litecoin. And then you could have held it. As soon as you got here, out. Well, look what happened. This may have been traders trying to hold it, and they're being careful, which is why we're seeing pretty big dumps down here. Trying to hold it, failed, out. They accumulated credit, tried to hold, failed, out. That was a buying opportunity. This is one of the first ones. Look, even the MACD cross. Excuse me, we got to buy. Look how low the RSI went on the 15. We got a high volume sell off in RSI. 10. You have to buy that. You have to buy that on the 15-minute as a trade. And you could have put in your stop at the low of the day. And look, they even fucked you. They pushed you down, screwed you off, took you out. As soon as it came back, probably this happened in like a minute. As soon as it came back, let's go on a lower time frame. Okay, you had some time. If you had to stop at a lower day, say when you came back up, maybe you went long here. You probably held. You're like, okay, I'm going to get out at lower day, which was right around here. They did that on purpose to make you get out of the long position, so you had to buy back, and that's what happened. Now, as soon as even if you got flushed out, maybe you didn't, maybe you got flushed out, as soon as it came back up and went above that bar, that's a long entry. Or if you went long on 112.80, or let's say you couldn't get it till 113, you just made a $2.50, $3 move. And depending on your trading platform, that's not a bad trade in an hour. In fact, it's still a long. Like I did not take this trade. I am long Litecoin, but I did not take this trade. I know this video is getting kind of long, and we've talked about a lot of different topics, but I wanted to get a lot of stuff off my chest because something I've seen pop up on the internet are maybe you get people who are only focused on one coin. I know we did a lot of Bitcoin analysis today, but that's the big dog. That's the big dog. You need to be concerned with Bitcoin until we're not concerned with Bitcoin. With Bcash, again, I'm going to call it Bcash. Here's my D&D. Right. I'm going to have to edit that. Okay. Sorry about that. We're back. Oh, Zeke actually. Oh, that's Zeke to ETH. Okay. Still holding. Trading view is really lagging right now. Everybody's flipping their shit. Look at Bcash, man. It got slaughtered. I mean, down here, I was like, why the hell? Like, Bcash is dead. Bcash is dead. And then volume came in. We broke this downtrend here, and we got an accelerated push. If this is 1, this is definitely 2. 3 is going up here. 3 is going here to here. Did you make money shorting it right here? Not a lot. Not a lot. Did you make money shorting it right here? Nope. You had to re-enter here. And look, the stochastics even said that, oh, it was better to short on a higher end of the stochastics. And even if you saw this, you had to wait for the signal line to cross over. And where did it cross over? Right here. Guess what? That was the perfect sell. The perfect sell. See how these things work out on the daily? I mean, if you can just wait, here's a bull. Here's a bull buy. It failed. And then we cross back over bearish again. So, I think we are going to see this bottoming pattern play out for Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot of crap in the community right now about what's the real Bitcoin. I personally own both. I think Bitcoin Cash was a steal down in this area. And look at this. This is a bottoming pattern, guys. If this holds, I mean, it could even, we could see Bitcoin Cash come all the way back down and retrace 780. And it would be, in my opinion, a huge buying opportunity down here. We're already overextended to the downside. Even for crypto, this is a pretty big move down here. Somewhere around 50% correction. Well, geez. The algo targets are going to be loving that. That's a 50% retrace. But, you know, we're just bear flagging. We broke to the downside after the bear flag. Decent volume. We're not done yet, right? In fact, Bcash was outperforming for some time up until today. And that's even more of a glaring 4-hour break. Litecoin had been slightly outperforming relative to Bitcoin. We got the bear flag break. And look, it's retraced the entire move, guys. We had about a 3.5 week move, and now we've had about a 3.5 week move. That sucks. Another possibility is that we just go straight up rectangle sideways and we stay in a channel till the end of the year. Wow, Golem's retraced. Sorry, I'm just going through a couple different things. You know, McAfee had his call where Golem was going to go to $5. He said his algorithms are never wrong. Well, I did buy some Golem down here on this dip. Added here on the breakout. I'm still comfortably long even with this this sell-off here. Because what's Golem doing? Golem just broke out of this. There's a couple different trades here, guys. On the short-term basis, back to the 25. Look at these. We broke out of there on volume. Volume is a lie detector. You want to look short-term buys in Golem. Golem was probably the most profitable trade. Not because it's going straight up, but because we get these moves higher of like 10%. You put $1,000 in Golem, you put the numbers wherever you want. Make $100 in a couple hours. You know, guys, do you do that once or twice a day, a couple times a week? It adds up. You multiply that, say you've got $10,000, which is your trading capital. You just made $1,000. Guys, for a day trader, by the way, someone who's trading $10,000 as a day trader is not a significant day trader. You're talking, you got an account in the millions, or you trade around, sling around 500,000. There's barely any margin in this business, but on stocks, good Lord, $10,000 you can't really do much with. In fact, you need $25,000 just to be a pattern day trader. So here was an opportunity. We broke out of this consolidation, and we went from 45 up to 49. That was a 10% move, guys. Take your profits. Look what happened. We went sideways. As soon as we broke out of here, 46 went to 50. Another nice move. This is happening again. if we can hold on this downtrend line, which I'll back out and I'll show you what this is. This is rudimentary. This is everyone else, right? But also mainnet, or testnet. Actually, Golem had really good news, so it's actually working. It has a product. A lot of these altcoins don't have products. Look at this volume that came in. Do you see the sell volume? No, this is just all little shits that are getting out because they're scared and panicked. Golem, full disclosure, I am very long Golem. It's one of the only ones that moves by itself. It has relative strength. And we'll see what happens. I mean, this thing could come in even more. I think it has a great possibility of holding 47 to 40 in that range. And what happens if it holds here? We're going magnitudes higher. Magnitudes higher. I can't say this about a lot of coins. I think the upside on Golem, with the fundamentals that are behind it and the setup in the chart, this is the beauty right here. This is why. Look at this. Since the spike up from the fundamental news about the actual Golem net going online, which is awesome, by the way, we've retraced it. Okay, we got to get above 53. This area, 53, 54, 55. We get above that, we're going back up here, 75. And we do a simple downtrend line, which anyone can draw this. Cocktail napkin, right? You can see, look at these green bars. Look at the volume. They're accumulating it right here. They're accumulating. The downtrend is stopping. And in fact, in the last couple days, we actually just saw a spike above. And that's why we went to 50, because it held. It broke that downtrend line, which means this line is for real. And as long as we hold that line on the way down, which we're trying to, the measured move is the thick part of this. 120. I think as long as crypto survives over the next week or so, say we have a rally in Bitcoin from 72.29 where it is right now to 85, 8,600 or 9,000, I think we're going to see Golem launch. My own personal opinion, this is for your entertainment, not financial advice. And Zcash just gave up the ghost. I mean, look at this. Had every opportunity. Here's a pitchfork that didn't play out. Here's that prior downtrend line that it broke, got some volume, tried to hold it, and it failed a couple days ago, 2 days ago. So we got more sell volume. And this was the announcement of it going on Gemini, which is very interesting, by the way. And I feel like as though it's big news. It might be the only privacy coin that's allowed to win. None of them are doing very well, but Zcash hasn't mooned yet. I mean, the rest of them have. Look at Verge. Zcash has got $1 billion market cap. Why can't it be $4 billion? Ask yourself that. If it's going on one of the biggest exchanges, let's say that Coinbase lists it as the privacy coin. Would they list Verge? No. Would they list Bitcoin private? No. Would they list a coin where Gemini got approval for custody from the U.S. government? Yes, they would. It might take a year for them, but as long as Zcash holds up, Gemini is going to start. They've already started trading it. I would imagine next 6 months or 12 months that they will put Zcash on their book. because Gemini went ahead and got all of the approvals. Now, if it's a exclusive for Gemini, well then, sorry about that, right? I don't know that. I don't know. But it doesn't need to hold. And then there's all this stuff about, I mean, geez, look at this. If it even if it comes down here and retraces even more, another 10%, it's so oversold right now. This is a bottoming pattern, a macro bottoming pattern, which tells me 170-ish on the low, almost to the tick, 391, about 600 bucks. It's going to take us back up here. And wants to come back up here. So that's only a double. But for all the people out here there who mine, Bitmain put out some new Equihash ASIC miners that are going to be coming out at the end of the first batch comes out in the end of June, okay? And then the second batch comes out in August. They came out pretty much like, it was in May. I can't remember for certain when it was. I feel like it was in this timeline a couple days before the Gemini announcement, where Bitmain said, okay, 1 per person, here's our first batch, Equihash, there you go. It happened in this timeline. No one knew about this. Bitmain probably did. And then all the Equihash coins were like, oh, we're forking away. Oh, we're forking away. Screw ASIC. Screw ASIC. Well, guess what? ASIC is the future. It's not just going to be Bitmain. Samsung's in the game. We've got some other companies that are going to be in the game. It's more energy efficient. Graphics cards are wasted mining. They found a way through ASIC to do it. I honestly believe that is where we're going in a couple of years. Everything will be ASIC. Just look like Bitcoin mining. We had some GPUs, and then we went to ASICs, and we never looked back, right? So what if you have a little box, it's an ASIC? You know what? These things are anywhere from $800 to a couple $1,000. Well, if you wanted to buy a GPU mining rig, and you wanted to put 4 GPUs, 1080 Ti's, at $800 to $1,000 each with all the other components, you're looking at the same amount of money. And guess what? Those ASICs are going to outperform those GPUs. Okay, you can't resell the ASIC. Understood. So what? So what? I actually did buy several of the ASICs. Went in with some people. I bought some. It's a gamble. And when we looked at it with the Equihash miners, it was a gamble. We say, okay, could these coins fork away? Yeah, so we're going to be stuck with whatever's left. But that coin's probably going to be good. So where I see is Zcash still hasn't. The owner came out and said, one of the founders said, he kind of went back on what he said, where he was going to say Equihash, we're going to stay ASIC resistant. And he kind of said, hey, I understand the future, and I believe that we're going to have a future, and it's probably going to be ASIC. I'm paraphrasing, okay? But he said, I'm open to ASIC mining. And so whereas several of the other coins definitely said, oh, we're hard forking. Oh, we're hard forking. We're getting out of this. We're going back to ASIC resistant. Zcash actually came out right in this time and said, we're okay with ASIC mining. What does ASIC mining do? It ups your hash rate on the network, which means it increases security. Well, for $1 billion coin, who at that time he knew he was going to be listed on Gemini, no one else did, he needs that security. Therefore, in my opinion, I believe Zcash will stay with ASIC, and the network security on Zcash is going to increase. The difficulty will also increase with that. In the next 6 months to a year, I think that the security on the Zcash network is going to rival that of others. I mean, here's Monero's chart. I mean, Monero's down 50%. It's actually made a new low. It's down. It's dipped below, not holding the previous low. It's weaker than Bitcoin. Ask yourself why. I think the big dogs and the institutionals just realized Monero's going away. Like Zcash, there are some things where you can't, like when you make the account with Gemini, if you want to sell your Zcash into fiat, I believe, do your own research, but I believe from what I read on the articles that were released, the only way they got institutions and the government on board was if you had the privacy feature turned off when you sold it into fiat. And when you put it in, it can't be into privacy. Now, I'm sure there's a way to mix it after that where it still goes into a privacy, but when you want to pull it out, they want to know who has that money. Say if it's Bob Smith who pulls money out. They want to know that they know their customer and that Zcash money went into Bob Smith's account. To me, I have no problem with that. You know, I don't break the law. I don't do anything wrong with that. So, do I want anonymity? Guess what? We have no anonymity. I can't even say that word. That's why we don't have it, right? The governments, they know everything we're doing. They want to track things a little bit better, yeah, but they know everything we're doing. Every conversation we have, it's all recorded. And to think otherwise for the last 10 years has just been dumb. So I think Zcash is going to come out a winner. I think Gemini picking it up is just the beginning of they chose Zcash. Bitmain chose Equihash, and I think Zcash. I think we're going to see Zcash do pretty well. And I think the other privacy coins are going to go down. Now, we do see McAfee talk about Bitcoin private. Well, dude, he thinks it's going to go up 10 times. It's like $25 right now. I think it's going to go to 220. Okay. There's no exchange. There's no big exchange. Yeah, you can put it on your cold wallet now, right? But there's no big exchange for Bitcoin private. Now, if it gets put on Binance, shit, I'd buy it on Binance. You can still mine it right now, but there's no exchanges that have any quality to them. Like, get on Bittrex, get on Binance, get on Bitfinex. Just get on one of the big ones. Go on. I don't even think you can buy it on Qcoin. If it was on Qcoin, I'd buy it. None of the big Korean exchanges can you buy it. So I know I've gone all over the place. This is my first video, Toxic Crypto. They will get better. But I've had a lot of things that are on my mind, and I wanted to share those with you all on our journey to figure out where the hell crypto is going to go. I think it's going to have a bright future. And I am going to make several different videos. I cover a lot of different coins. There's a lot of coins that people do not cover. I don't understand why. And I also want to get into a weekly video as well, where I will be discussing a coin that I learned every week. Because I feel as though in crypto winter, as Trace Mayer talks about, and if you don't know who Trace Mayer is, look him up and try and listen to some videos with him, some interviews with him. As my channel grows, I would love a chance to interview Trace Mayer. This guy's phenomenal. He calls us crypto winter. It's a time to shake out all of the weak hands and for people to learn what they hold, what they might hold soon, and to learn. Get the weak coins out of there, the shit products out of there, and get the money back into where it belongs. The people who have projects, the people who have products that are working, not just a roadmap that's 3 years away from getting a test net. There's a lot of coins that don't even have a test net. That's how early we are. Use this time to learn. So what I plan to do is to come out with a structured video once a week with a different coin. And we might even put it up to a vote on, you know, what the future coin will be. And we'll go over the white paper. I will read the white paper. I'll make a presentation on the white paper. You know, again, at this time, I'm not receiving any money for any of these. It's just me looking out and finding a project that I think is interesting that I will disclose whether or not I have any position. But as of right now, outside of a very limited few projects, do I have any type of financial money involved into it, and it's very, very, very small. Like these newer projects, guys, it's very small. But I will disclose whether or not I have any position, or if I plan to, because that's fair. You need to know whether or not I'm pumping my own book, and I will always tell you. So that's one plan I have. I do want to have a daily or bi-daily video where I go through the majors, and that might expand to do a little more. I mean, I have looked around the internet, and there's some people who do a really good job. There's some people who don't do a very good job and still get a lot of views. There's some personalities out there that I really, really like, even though the content might not be the greatest. And this is a journey. It's just a journey through to share my thoughts on what I see as a seasoned trader, and trying to bring a little bit more experience into a noob market. So I appreciate all. I know this video ran a little long, but I appreciate you all, and I hope everyone has a tremendous Memorial Day. If you're in the States, eat well, be kind to your parents, be happy, and live life to the fullest. Thanks so much. It's Toxic Crypto signing out.